Hi, my name is Oculus. I'm a competitive Splatoon player. I kind of got back into the game after several months of hiatus. Um, I was a competitive Splatoon player for 2 to 3 years, more or less. Back in the Splatoon 2 days. I've also coached some teams during Splatoon 3, Splatoon 2. Um, I played in Ludi, uh, Div 1, Div 8. Okay, I started in Div 8. I went to Div 4, went to like Div 1 eventually, and that's kind of where I like ended my competitive career a few years ago. Um, when was it? Like 2022, whatever. Basically, I want to introduce myself because I am going to be talking about I guess the theoreticals of like Splatoon competitive play, how I go about my mentality of like playing the game at a competitive level. And I'm putting this context here of my competitive experience because I feel like it's important to know where I'm coming from when I talk about these things, and it's important to show that I have like experience to give credibility to any opinions I might have, though of course I'm going to try and generally back up anything that I'm saying with logic and just what I've seen work for like teams I've coached and teams that I've also played on. VOD reviews, everything generally. Um, it's going to be a really long video, probably, possibly dry. It's going to be like, I guess, like a college lecture. Um, I might go off like on tangent periodically. I might swear because it gets me across to like um, better discern demographics. Demographic wise, I'm hoping this reaches like people who are 16 and older, probably. Um, People who are, I mean, if you're like outside this age range, it's like fine, but like, is this the language I'll probably be using? Um, I'm also looking to like veer this more toward people who have experience with Splatoon, but have minimal to very high exposure to Splatoon, and who kind of like want a more like articulated, well-defined, like theoretical concept of like what like I guess an ideal Splatoon competitive team looks like. Overall, Splatoon is a very simple, very straightforward game premise-wise, but a lot of its depth comes from individual player freedom the game gives you. You can like climb over walls, paint stuff, move around, a movement, the sort of plays you can do. Um, in most cases, like there's like so many unpaintable walls and like Tetris piece corridor maps that like sometimes you can be very limited. Um, but oftentimes you'll find like a variety of different mindsets on like how to play the game. Like one person will be like, oh, we need like special spam to like win games, or one person will be like, oh, we need to get like lots of picks and we need to like take area, da, 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 da. And you're gonna find a lot of like differing opinions on like how like the game should be played. Overall, at like top level, you're gonna find a lot of like consensus on like how the game is played, and that's just because like the meta is very well developed. These people have played the game for a long time. But even then, you're gonna find like slight differences like in how they play, but even like how they perceive the game. Um, because like generally speaking, there's just like a lot of like little nuance. Though that's not to say that any one person is right. Oh my god, I was about to write right as like with a W. No person is like really right or wrong about their opinions usually. With when it comes to like top level players, like a lot of like different perspectives on the game. Um, I mean, there are wrong opinions. Let me tell you that there are like wrong opinions on how the game should be played, but there aren't necessarily any right opinions on like how the game should be played or like perspectives because what works in one sense can like not work in another sense or whatnot. Um, I'm going to just kind of like I'm going to like stop blabbering on it. I'm just going to kind of talk about how I see the game. Um, But one point I wanted to make clear is like, why should you care about my opinion of me talking about the game besides the fact that I have like competitive experience? If it's not like necessarily 100% accurate to how the game should be played. Um, I think it's because the more perspectives you accumulate, like you accumulate your perspective from player A, from player B, and from player C, the more different perspectives that you kind of like gather from like all these different people improves your own perspective. So you have now a mix of A, B, C, and let's say you're person D, and now you have like all of these different like ideas on like how to play the game, and having all these different ideas gives you like a better like premise on how to like actually like see the game, perceive it, etc. Um, I'm going to be talking the game a lot in the sense of heuristics. I'm going to use this term a lot. What I mean by heuristic, spelled, I think it's like this. Yeah. So what do I mean by heuristics? I basically mean some sort of rule of thumb or like evaluation that tells you how good you are at the game. um, a lot of people's viewpoints on like the game are on like evaluating how well they're doing and how you should play the game are based on heuristics. Like for example, on the kill screen, or like on the at the end of the game, it shows you like how many kills you've gotten, like how much paint you've gotten, yeah, yeah. Um, that's generally an okay heuristic on like how well you've done in a match. So if you get lots of kills, if you get lots of paint, if you get lots of specials, and you've gotten that way more than the other team, then generally that means most of the time that correlates to like you actually winning the match. So that can be like a good rule of thumb to like determine if you're being good at the game. But what we often see more often than not in reality, because theoretically it is a good heuristic, but in practicality we often see that that doesn't directly correlate to like actually like winning the match. Um, and that's just because there's like a lot of like nuance factors that go into like actually winning a match or not. Because like I've seen like teams that have like gotten like bodied on like in on like the end game kill screen where they would go like 6-12 like on all their players, but they like still win the game anyways by like a very like small margin, because they just like have a better defense setup or anything. Um, so heuristics are like a good way to be able to evaluate that your how well you're doing in the game or how you should play the game. Um, but again, it's not always perfect and accurate. Let me actually talk about FLC. If you don't know FLC, he's a really good. I believe he's an Australian Splatoon coach and analyst. I don't know if he still like plays the game or is doing coaching analysis. He's had experience with like competitive like Halo, and Splatoon as well for like several years. If I recall correctly, he made a Splatoon callouts and roles doc. Um, and don't quote me on this because I don't remember how he felt about it, but I believe he said that he didn't like the document that he made because the document basically talked about like how weapons can fit different roles, but it ended up being a situation where a lot of people misinterpreted the document as weapons have roles. So like a splatter shot would like fit into a slayer role. Um, like maybe like machine neo machine would fit into a skirmisher role, and then anything with like more range is going to fit like a backline or anchor role basically. And like basically like I believe I don't like don't quote me at this again. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've looked at that document, and I believe he had like a VOD on it that I watched, that I might have be misremembering. But like basically, he didn't like how basically people were categorizing weapons into these roles. So like splatter shot, like beep, 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 like fits into the Slayer role. Machine, this is like I don't know, machine fits in the skirmisher role or whatever. Where basically he didn't like how people were categorizing how weapons fit into roles. Um, but it is a good way to like determine, oh, what weapons should I like pick in like the match screen, like so we have like a relatively good balance. skirmisher, or like midline, like I guess like midline or whatever. Like basically people were seeing this when in reality he was talking more about like a splattershot can play Slayer or Skirmisher, but it's like generally better at like playing a Slayer than a machine is at playing Slayer, because splattershot can like kill really fast and is able to like finish fights really quickly, whereas Skirmisher is like better for machine because it's able to like hold fights for longer periods of time. Um, so like these weapons are more suited to generally playing these roles, but weapons should be able to adapt on the fly mid match to like actually like play certain roles. And I'm kind of giving this example here more as just like I'm trying to say that like I'm going to give like a perspective on like how I play the game, and that my perspective is not 100% perfect. It just happens to be a way to see it. So I want you to take like what I say with not with a well, I guess yes, take everything like you hear me say with a grain of salt. Um, because again, it's all like this is all based off of like what I've seen, my perspectives, etc., etc. Um, just like how I generally see the game. So I think you should, based off of what I say, come up with your own interpretation based off of like what you see in gameplay, what you see actually happen in matches, based off of what weapons you play, etc. You should actually develop your own opinions and your own thoughts on like how you want to play and how you want to perceive like certain things being done. Okay, now that I've gotten that introduction out of the way, I'm gonna start talking about. Let me actually see how long I've recorded for. 11 minutes. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna like actually set a timer here. I don't know like how long I'm gonna go for. I've never done this before. This is like all completely improv. I'm like trying to talk fast here because like again I'm like trying to keep this short. I've like never done anything like this before. Like just like pure improv. Anyways, um, basically, am I still recording? I hope I'm still recording. Okay, thank God I'm still recording. Okay, okay, okay. So let's like actually like get past the introduction. You know who I am. I explained why I'm like talking about my opinion, why you should care about my opinion. Despite the fact that like opinions are not always accurate, I think you should generally like care about the fact that like opinions give you more perspective and they can be used to develop your own opinions and perceptions. So I'm going to talk about what I kind of define as. I feel like there's like a few different ways to look at the game. I'm going to like create kind of like a cross chart here. Um, I'm going to say that you can see things as more team oriented. So this is what the team overall should be doing to achieve their goals. I'm going to be looking at individual oriented. Individual oriented. So basically, how you as an individual, how your gameplay should be looking like. Generally speaking, your individual gameplay should be looking to supplement the overall team goals, and vice versa. How you move as a team should make it easier for individuals on the team to like achieve their goals. It should supplement each other. I'm gonna be talking about the game state. So like what state the game currently is. The game state is not. I'm going to define a few different game states. Some of them will be discrete, meaning that the game will exist in a specific state and there's no ifs, ands, and buts. Um, but I think for the most part, game states are more of a gradient, and I'll explain what that means in a bit. So like it's like it just sort of like fizzles off or something. Like a gradient goes from like up here, like you go from like black to gray to less gray and then white. Like it's like more of a gradient. I feel like the game state is. Um, did that sentence make sense? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, game state will usually involve like I guess I'll get into a bit here. Will involve like neutral game. So like neutral game, we'll be talking about like when you're in clams and like both teams are in mid and they're like kind of skirmishing for each other and like trying to look for picks and like collect clams. Or like on zones where like both teams are kind of like skirmishing and fighting over the zone and nobody really like has lead or anything yet and they're just like fighting. Rainmaker. Like everyone's like trying to like contend for pop and trying to like get specials or something, get a few picks to like get push going, whatever. Like basically one team is trying to get a push over to like the other push. And then there's defense, and then there's push. Inherently, when one team is pushing, the other team is on defense, and vice versa. If you are playing neutral game while the other team is pushing, then you're probably playing the game wrong because you are just like painting in a place probably you shouldn't be, and you should be trying to stop the other team from pushing because while the other team is pushing, they're getting paint, they're getting specials, they're killing your teammates, etc., etc., etc. Um, I'm also going to be talking about, oh, so I should talk about how game state relates to team oriented and uh, individual oriented gameplay. So as it relates to game states, how the game state relates to like team oriented. Generally speaking, you want your team to be positioned in a manner that complements the game state. I.e., when you're pushing, you want your teammates to be moving up. You want to be moving up with your teammates and following up. If you see someone isolated, you go for them, you get a kill. In neutral state, you want to be like playing safe, like maybe going for pokes, so maybe your slayers can like follow up on a kill, um, stuff like that. The game state as it relates to individually oriented, you want to realize, hey, this is the current game state we're in. So like I as an individual player want to maybe be playing safer during defense neutral because like if they're pushing, we don't want them to get pick on me and then they get like special and then I don't get to throw bombs and like defend like this zone objective, etc. or whatever. Um, Now I'm also going to talk about the game in terms of a value um, slash means orient means. Uh, oh god, this is like so badly written. I'm sorry. I've never like done this before. Like so value slash means sort of approach to like seeing a game and what does value means basically mean? So I'm not sure if you ever heard of the term ends in means, using the means to justify the ends and using the ends to justify using the ends to justify the means and using the means to justify the ends. So basically, what this means is that means I'm using that word a lot. It's like beans. Okay, so basically, you use means to achieve an ends. That's it. I use a can opener to open a can of beans. The means, the can opener. The ends, getting those beans. That's what means and ends mean. Value. I when I talk about value, I'm talking about um, optimizing, or I'm going to be talking about optimizing the value you get out of doing certain actions through means in order to achieve the ends. So I think that let me look at my notes here because this is a bit like complicated. Okay, so generally, I take a means approach to where like most people, if you take an ends approach, right? Let me talk about the ends approach. If you take an ends approach to seeing this game, um, this basically means that you are looking at how to get from where you are, point A, to point B. And you're saying, okay, how can I best achieve the goal of like actually like winning the game? What I personally like to look at is a means oriented way of winning the game. Like, basically, I like doing things in a game that increases my chances of winning the game, but doesn't like necessarily win me the game in one fell swoop because I think the game is too complicated and there are a lot of steps involved in actually winning the game. Because the thing is that like means of like winning the game, right? Is like on I'll explain this in more detail in a bit. Um, but basically, I want the value to be optimizing means. Okay, I'm just gonna like talk about this now. How do I like clear the screen? How do I do this? Second, select all, delete. Okay, does this work? Oh, scary. Does this work? What does this do? Oh, it's glowing. Why is it glowing? Stop it. There. Okay, it's gone. Good. Okay. I'm just going to talk about means versus ends approach. So, what do I mean by this? So the ends for actually winning a game is, well, no duh, like getting a victory on the win screen. On zones, this means like capping zone and getting the timer to like 0. On like Rainmaker, this means defending your pedestals and preventing the enemy team from pushing up, defense, but also getting like the Rainmaker as far as possible, and then like similar to like tower and like clamp. You get the idea. Means the way you do this, right? The ends is actually pushing the objective up. How do you actually do this? And the reason, like, you're going to see immediately why I like talking about the means of actually doing this. The reason why I like talking about this is because there's a lot of ways to achieve this. Um, that, but there's only very specific ways that you can do this. And I think it is best from a heuristic sense to try and optimize this. So the means of doing this is like one of them is paint. It is easier to push the objective if you have paint on the map, if you have mobility. Another way to do this is special. Like you use your specials. You pop Zuka, you like get a quad or something, and like you can like push up the objective. That's like super dope. Getting picks, getting kills. Even more importantly than that, not kill, not die. Do not die. Very bad. That gives the enemy team paint. You lose special, right? So basically, um, kill makes this happen and makes this happen for you because now they have less special. But and also like painting for like your special also is like a part of killing. But if you die, then you give that to enemy team. Like obviously, like I feel like this is like something everything knows. But I feel like it's a good idea to like talk about like basics and stuff. Um, anyways, I think these are easier to like objectively achieve, um, like mindset wise, rather than just like doing something as nebulous as like defending the zone. It's like, how do you defend the zone? You paint, you throw bombs, right? You throw bombs, have good positioning that lets you optimize how you paint, get good positioning that optimizes how you not die, optimize a good position that lets you get kills. Like pretty much it's just like optimizing these things, increasing like the value of your life. Like, and when I say life, I mean like the time period from like when you spawn into like dying, like increasing the amount of value you kind of get from like whatever you're doing at like the current moment. um I'm talking, and this is like more on an individual basis. Um, on a team basis for the means, you generally want to be, in order to be able to like get pushes going. We want to get opportunities and neutral, find ways to extend the push, identify when a push is dead, stay alive, get special for defense. Um, real quick, now that I've like kind of gave an overview of like means and ends, I'm going to be jumping around all the place. This is like just how my brain works. I don't even know if like I said, I've like never done like an explanation video like this before. This is like complete improv. Oh shoot, I got like where is this? Oh shoot. How do I undo, redo. There we go. Bye bye. Okay. Okay. So basically, neutral state. Did I explain this before? I think a little bit. Neutral state. Neutral state, defense, push. So basically, this is a number line. Generally speaking, if you're being pushed by the enemy team, you are on defense. If you are pushing the enemy team, they are on defense. Neutral state is basically both of you are like poking each other with bombs and like maybe specials or something, and your team right now is trying to based off of the game state, trying to like get picks, um, trying to like maybe like get a special or something, get like a push started, get the objective, get something going. On defense, you're generally trying to like stay alive, get specials, regroup with your team, make sure your spawns aren't desynced. When I mean by desynced spawns, I explicitly mean, um, let's say you're like four up, and then like two of you die, and then now you're in like a 2v3 or 2v4 or whatever, right? Now the enemy team is fighting a 2v4, right? So your two people should not be fighting their four, right? This is like big no no. You don't want to like fight a 2v4. That's like generally bad. So you want these two people to like stay alive as long as possible. But let's say these two people do die, right? Let's say that happens. Shoot. Okay. Let me like redraw this. Okay. So let's say that these two people die, right? And then this 2v4 like happens, right? And then as these two people here on the right respawn, these two people die. Now you're still in a 2v4 and nothing has like changed, right? And then let's say as soon as these two respawn, then these two people die because you're in a 2v4 and you still keep on like trying to like take fights and not reinforce your position and force them to like try and challenge you in a bad position for them or like slow them down. Basically, that's when you end up with uh, desync spawns, which is like the worst possible like state you could be in. It's like worse than wiping out because like you're constantly in disadvantage and there's like absolutely nothing like that you can do like like you're basically just feeding. Like this is just like feeding, and this is like a state that you never want to be in. On defense, you want to kind of like identify and like prevent that sort of thing from happening. On pushes, generally you want the enemy team to like do that. You're not going to like make that happen of your own accord necessarily, that specific state of events, but you're definitely going to be wanting to like try and get picks. You're going to be wanting to identify like, hey, my team is like pushing, let's like push up together, like like call out people like, hey, there's like this one person here and they're being annoying and they're like causing a flank or whatever. Generally speaking, communication is like how you get your team to cooperate in these like different states, or how you transition from like neutral state to defense, or like whatever the heck. um, and the reason why you need communication is like you don't know where all your teammates are necessarily. You're not like looking at your map all the time, or like or you're not like always necessarily like fighting someone that's like, oh, there's like a sploosh on me and they're like trying to like shoot me from this direction. It's like, okay, I can like come and help you and then shoot this person and then they're one down and then you get paint and then you get specials and then you can like pop another special to get like three people, because it's easier to shoot at three people instead of four people, because like four people like because three people is less than four people. There's less people to look at, generally speaking. It's generally easier to aim at three targets rather than like four targets. The more targets there are, the easier it is to aim at them. Like if there's one target, you only shoot at the one target. Like that's really it. Um, big stretch. Okay. Okay, let me look at my notes. Oh shoot, my notes actually are done. So I'm gonna have to improvise. Great. Okay, wonderful. What was the part that I like talked about? Hold up. Yes, yes, yes. This part. Team oriented, value means, game state, defense push, individual oriented. God, am I really done and out of things to like talk about? No, there has to be more, right? I don't know. I guess this is like generally how I see the game. Um, I guess I'm gonna like talk a little bit more in detail, um, about how I see like neutral game states. Generally speaking, I guess like one thing I wanted to talk about is like, let's say this is like the map. Ooh, I get to like draw a funny thing. Let's say this is like the map, right? And you got like paint here, and then like you're like here and like here and like here and like here, but like then the enemy team is like still respawning and like coming back in. Generally speaking, like if you have like paint like all the way up here, this means you have like turf control here, but like not like map control. So like oftentimes like during a wipeout, you want everyone to like push up as far as possible, Or if you like identify that they're down a certain amount of people, you want to push up as far as possible because like they don't have enough players to like like actually like stop you guys from like pushing up. But this is like something that generally has to be communicated, like hey, like it only works like if like everyone's like pushing up at the same time into like this like uncontrolled space, like even if it's in their color, like even if like this paint is in their color, you still want to like push up for this as fast as possible, paint as fast as possible, get your specials, because like they can't defend this. This is like completely undefensible territory for them. um let's see. And again, there's like some stuff that I guess is like kind of obvious. I mean, like what if there's like people in like a corner, like let's say like you got a teammate. Oh, I guess one thing I want to talk about is like team positioning. When it comes to like team positioning, basically on the map, you want to be. I guess I'll like talk about crossfire and like individual and like team-oriented positioning. So generally on the team, you want to be positioned like this. I'm going to like make the assumption that we're talking about like standard comps that have like one cooler weapon. So that's going to be either heavy edit or like pencil in the current meta. This is going to be like I don't know, like splatter shot, freaking machine, and then like stamper or something. And then this is like a comp. This is like generally your frontline position, and then there's gonna be their thing, and then they have like in like maybe also a heavy edit that's like kind of like in this area, and they're kind of like up here like helping people. Now, generally speaking, um, let me draw like the dots a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna like draw a circle here, draw a circle here, draw a circle here, draw a circle here. What the? This is like this funny little circle. Anyways, um, generally speaking, you might notice this a lot more at like top level play, but like before like the pencil was like ever a thing, people really didn't like to run a lot of anchors, and the main reason was they don't do a lot like in the back here. Like the thing is like you want to kind of be like painting and like challenging people that move across this front line right here. Like this is the front line. This is like the even barrier between the front of this team and that team. Because like once you like how do I put it? Once you like is there like a hand selector? Can I like move these? Oh god, I can't like move these. Oh, like a hand tool. Oh boy, this is bad, very bad. Okay. Oh, rectangle. Yeah, rectangle selector. There we go. Yeah, so like once you move like past this front line, you're going to get shot. Like you're going to get shot, right? Because like this like anchor or whatever the heck can't like help you like at like that range, because like you only have like so much range, because like generally this distancing is based off of like how much range these three front lines have, and then like how much range like these three front lines have, and then this range, so that if anyone like comes across this line, this person like shoots them pew pew or whatever the heck, right? Like that's part of the reason why like some teams like have an anchor. It's just sort of like if like the front lines need to back up a bit, they can, and then this is like creates like a kill zone like here, so you can't like walk through that. That's like generally what an anchor is supposed to do, while also being like supportive and like providing paint for the team, and like making sure that like D3 like die less, and then when they do die, providing like a bit of a buffer barrier for D3 to like come back in, basically. So it's like sort of like a defensive structure. D3 protect this one, and then this one kind of like creates like a passive like just kill zone for anyone who gets like too close to D3, and like tries to challenge D3. Like D3 want like people to like bait into like coming to here, but if these people are in a disadvantaged situation, you just like push them. Like I don't know, like you get like these two people, and then like they push this guy, like a corner or like whatever heck. Oh no, I'm just like kind of rambling here at this point. Generally speaking, neutral game. You kind of want to be like pushing people in the corner. Like, how do I put? No, no. Okay, let me rephrase this. Sorry, I'm like, I'm talking too fast, and I'm like very not used to this, so I'm like very ranting. Okay, so generally speaking, going back to like the whole spread out people thing, right? You want to be spread out, and you want this. but you don't want to be too spread out. And there's like two reasons for this. If you are too spread out, let's say you are like spread out all the way, like like can I not delete this? Okay, I can't delete that. Okay, apparently not. Okay, so let's say you're too spread out. So you got like your two teammates here. What the oh my god, I decapitated the poor fellow. Jeez Louise. Oh my. Oh no. Oh, come on. Okay, screw it, we ball. Okay, whatever, right? And then like you got like this buddy, you got like this buddy over here, and you got like these whatever over here, right? It's very easy for these two people to go here and like shoot at this person, like right here, and then for this person to shoot at this person, and then this person can just shoot at these people if they try to move across here out of like open cover into a space. And that's generally why you don't want to be spread out too far apart, because situations like that can happen like pretty often. But you don't want to be too clumped together, because let's say you're like your whole team is like clumped together like here, 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 right? It's like great. Your teammates are now able to like help each other. Like this person can help you, this person can help you. You're all like super best friends and whatnot, right? You can like help each other. But if you're all clumped up together, well, shoot, now like this person can look at you from this direction. This person can look at you from this direction. This person can like look at you from this direction, right? So like draw like enemy team people here, right? They're spread out enough that like let me get a freaking square. Here we go. They're like spread out enough that they're still close enough together to kind of help each other if like one of these guys like starts diving them or like gunning for them or whatever. Um, but they're spread out enough that like basically this whole group here, like this whole group right here, um, has to contend with watching one, two, three directions, whereas this team has to contend with watching. Oh shoot, has to contend with watching things from one direction, from one point. There's only one direction attacks are going to come from, and it's going to be where literally everyone on the entire team is. So it's very easy for these three to just like poke at them from different angles, and then this team is like, oh shoot, I'm being attacked from here, I'm being attacked from here. And then now, how are they going to like help each other if like they're just being constantly poked from like different directions? There's no like time to like react if like this person like gets boinked from the side, right? Like, let's say little Timmy like shoot. Let's say like little Timmy number one here is like, oh, I'm getting shot from this direction. It's like, oh, I'll go help, and it's like, oh, now I'm like isolated like here, and then now this person can like come in and like boink you, like that sort of thing, and you're just like looking at that from like different angles. Um, yeah, that's like something I wanted to talk about. What else did I want to talk about? I don't know. Shoot. uh, I mean, yeah, there's like not much more I want to talk about. Maybe if I like wrote a better script and I'm not like improvising like everything, I'd be able to like talk more. Again, like this whole positioning thing, by the way, about like being spread out like relatively evenly. This isn't something that you necessarily have to communicate. Like maybe if you're like respawning and you're looking at the map and you see like everyone's like too clumped together, too spread out, or like being in positions they shouldn't be, you should be like, hey, you shouldn't be in that position. You're pushed up too far up, or you're like too far behind everyone else. Get to like XYZ position, right? You can like call that out to your teammates, but generally speaking, this is like an intuitive, like I guess, social distancing. Bad memories of COVID, Jesus. Uh, like generally speaking, you want to kind of keep that gap. And another reason for this is also like paint. Like, um, this is another reason why anchors are not liked on like some teams is because if the anchor is back here, the anchor is going to be painting this area in front of them, and this person can paint the area around them. This person can paint the area around them, and this person is going to be painting around the area around them. And what essentially is happening is like the actual effective area of what they're painting is going to be like taken up by all of this space, and as a result, um, the anchor is going to get a lot less value than they would otherwise. unless you have your anchor a little bit more pushed up, which honestly like requires like more skill and can be more dangerous, depends on the map, yada yada yada. But another reason why you want to be spread out is like again, you have like these circles of like paint and like control of like you can like locally control the area around you with your weapon, paint, etc., whatever. And this is like the safe zone. If anything or like if anything enters this zone, then it probably means they can kill you or you can kill them. And you want that control to be like as spread out as possible without overlapping each other too much, because overlapping each other means that's like kind of redundant space. You don't necessarily need multiple people like watching this redundant space. Like you can like be spread out a little bit further, but like it just kind of depends on like what is like needed at the moment. Some maps like Robo Ramen, like I'm going to like draw like a quick markup of the map. Like this is zone, and then this is like that big like bridge thing that like goes into like the middle of the zone. Like it's very like difficult to like spread out on this map because like it's literally like one route thing. So you have to like drop down and then like climb this wall, or you have to like drop down around this like there's like a glass wall here, and then there's like grates here. And then like you drop down and then like you have to like poke from this wall, or to maybe you like climb up this ramp and then like you throw bombs up it and like shoot or whatever the heck. It like just kind of depends on like what your team comp is. Like I don't know, like you might want like a slosher down here because they can shoot up and over the wall. Um, or maybe you might want something like shorter range, like a shot. So if like someone tries like pushing them here, you can like punish them super easily. Or maybe you might want the slosher here so they can like shoot down over here. Like I don't know. It depends. Um, like generally speaking, that's like on a case by case basis, and it's another reason why I say like this heuristic or mindset for like or like evaluation rule of thumb, I guess whatever the heck you want to call it, is like not perfect because again, there's like flaws like this. You're not gonna like I get like playing this like approach for optimizing your position, optimizing how much you're painting, and like getting specials is not like always going to be like I guess optimal. Um, like again, like you can like paint like so much more than the enemy team, but then like you like still lose the game if you're like not actually like pushing the objective, because like you can be optimizing the value of like getting paint and specials, paint specials, whatever the heck. I'm like losing my ability to write right now. But like basically, it doesn't matter if you can like get paint and specials and like area control if you're like not actually using it and like playing off of it. Like you can be like a team that's like in mid and it's like great, we like killed two of them and we're like four up, and then we're just not going to do anything with it because it's like oh great. Like no, like when you get like two down on the enemy team, like you got to be like oh shoot there's like two people alive, let's like go after them because we can like fight like 4v2s like very easily. Like we can get like paint like control for free, we can get special, they got like gotta move fast, we gotta push them out because like um basically it's a time game. Like the timer is on you guys, it's on your team to go in and like get rid of these last two people so that when these two respawn in they have like no teammates to like basically help them and they're basically screwed. So you want to fight the advantage while you still have the advantage. um Also, I say like Splatoon is a lot like chess because like generally speaking, going back to this screen again, generally speaking, in chess you have a lot of trades. So like you have your knight or whatever, and then you have your knight. But it's like if I take your knight, then my queen will take your knight. So it's like I take your thing, and then the queen takes your piece, and it's like rah, rah, rah. So like it's an exchange for an exchange. And generally in Splatoon, like I guess at a lot higher level, you generally want to be making it so that when you die, you aren't like dying for nothing. Like generally speaking, like you make yourself very hard to kill. Like if somebody like tries to like move in and like kill you as like a roller, like you got your teammate and your teammate like shooting here. Um, I guess this is like slightly different from like the value oriented approach because like painting and getting specials and like making sure you have good spacing and positioning makes it easier for you to do this, but is not like going to make you do this. But this is still like a way to like achieve like the ends of like winning the game. Um, Honestly, I'm like how long have I been recording for? I've been recording for like 40 minutes. I did say I like personally to myself I want to record this for 3 minutes. I just kind of want to experiment what it'd be like talking about like what goes on in my head. I'm not very experienced, I guess, talking or like lecturing without context because I'm like used to like being like a VOD review and then pointing out, hey, you like screwed up here. This is why you screwed up, rather than just like talking about like a very nebulous concept of the game on like a theoretical sense. I just made like a little funny window here with an X button. That's hilarious. Um, but like generally speaking, like talking about something like as nebulous as like the game on a theoretical sense without any context for the game is like quite difficult, and I did this like with only like kind of like a two-page script that is like kind of like paraphrased and whatever the heck. So I hope, I don't know, I explained my mind the best I could and I articulated it somewhat well, even though I was like rambling. And I hope people can generally understand this and where I'm like trying to come from when I say some of these things. Again, I'm not like perfect. I don't think my explanations are perfect, nor are my perception of the game perfect. I'm always looking to improve and refine like my own perception of like how the game should be played. And when I say how the game should be played, how the game should be played specifically to optimize your chances of winning. Um, because again, my evaluation is like not perfect, based off of a bunch of other people. Um, Based off of like what I've seen other people do, what seen other people explain. Um, Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, there was like one last thing I wanted to talk about before I go. Um, Freaking where was the selection thing? But and then magic eraser delete thing. Go. There we go. Okay. That was weird. I don't know how that works. Oh no, Windows can be a bit weird sometimes. There's like a thing with like positioning where like on maps, Gem, like Squid School, he like talked about this in like a video like fairly recently, and I think it's like important to talk about this. Let's say you're playing in like freaking um, like Scorch Gorge, and like like after you push like past like where the clam basket is in like Scorch Gorge, and like there's like this whole like divot. There's like a no man's land zone. One of the things about that I wanted to talk about is like don't be there. You never want to be there because like you're being shot at from like different directions. Um, I don't know where I wanted to go with this. I'm like, I'm like just being, yeah. I'm just gonna stop before I like stop confusing myself. I'm like very tired. Long video. Um, okay. Bye. How do I stop this? Oh shoot. Wait. Alt. Where's the button? Oh, there we go.